Hello and welcome to another video from earnped.com. I am Stevie B. Let's get this started with some Big O sips to get us started off right. Happy to have you all with me today. If we look, we can see that I have been doing the Imperium Snowbase event here on planet Cyrene, and I have just hit rank 4 of my codex for the Mecha Lupine challenge. And I am about 2/3 of the way done with the mission for destroying the mechas, which will then spawn the boss. So let's head over to ARC headquarters. And let's head over to the event area. And let's go into the event. And it's down. It's down. And nope. And try again. And nope. And let's try it one more time. And nope. And let's try it again. And fail. And let's try the team instance. And and let's try one more time. And nope. So yeah, that's gonna be a big nope. That's gonna be a big sack of nopes. That's gonna be nope, 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 nope. So the entire event's been canceled. Yep. Can't make this crap up. So here's the deal. Remember to go in there, you had to go into one of those two instances, and then you got to pick which maturity you wanted to go after, stuff like that. And the whole key to this whole thing was that there would be droplets, and you could refine 5 droplets into a pristine, and the pristines are the super rare thing that you need in order to upgrade the armor, right? Well, bad news, the droplets are account bound, the pristines are not. And the droplets are a rare item hoff, so you've got to rare item hoff multiple times to get 5 droplets to make 1 pristine. So if you get 1 droplet, then you're stuck because you need 4 more. So you've just got to keep going, which kind of sucks. But then to make it even worse, the whole point of this was that they have this special skill juice. And here's some right here that I did happen to loot 1. This is a 50% skill gain for 1 hour skill juice. So I got a whole 1 skill juice out of all of the grinding. Now, granted, I only made it to, Codex rank 4, and then I quit. But even that was several hundred kills of me scratching my head going, okay, this is a whole lot of effort for 1 skill juice. And the loot was absolutely abysmal. In fact, I'll run to a TT for you, because I'm actually going to TT the stuff that I got when I was in there this morning. I was in there for about 30 minutes this morning before I went to bed after work. So what did I manage to get in about 30 minutes this morning? Well, I got some socket 1 components, which are TT food, some socket 2 components, which are TT food, some animal muscle oil, some eye oil, some interactive simplifier components, some supercharger components. Yeah, I probably wasn't even in there 30 minutes. I was probably in there closer to like 15 minutes. Maybe not even that. So yeah, that was literally it. That was the sum total of my loot from the instance this morning, which I'm glad they closed it because it sucked. It was horribly bad. In fact, I was actually going back into the instance, and my plan was to finish up that little bit of a third of the mission that I needed to spawn the boss. And I was going to get the boss spawning on video for you guys and tell you guys, hey, these droplets are account bound. The skill juice just isn't dropping very well at all. So this really may just be an event that you want to avoid unless you're really hardcore going after this armor upgrade mission and really hardcore going after these pristines, because the droplets themselves are account bound. And whenever I took a nap and I was going to get back up and go in there, and when I did, that's whenever I found out that the entire thing had been shut down. That's when I found out that the entire shabam had been canceled. And, to the credit of the development team, they're trying to put on a really good event, and it just wasn't going the way they wanted to. You can see somebody is actually still in there right now. They've shut the instance down, but somebody just global that they found a jelly droplet. So it's a 6-hour instance, so it's going to take the full 6 hours of, you know, having the instance shut before the last person's kicked out. So what ended up happening? Well, the development team was looking at the event going, this is not what we want. This is not going the way we want. This is not the kind of loot that we want. And I think from the development team standpoint, they want the skill juice to drop a whole lot. A whole lot. And they want the droplets to drop in enough of a quantity to make it seem like it's worth doing. And that's the exact opposite feeling that I was having yesterday and today whenever I was grinding a little bit. Is it was like, okay, if I do get a droplet, that's one droplet. Then I need 4 more before I can make it pristine, and these droplets are account bound. So do I really even want to spawn the boss? Do I really even want to keep going? Because if I get 1 droplet, it's account bound. I'm stuck. I've got to get 4 more. And there's 7 different types of droplets. There's Tideclaw, Peneleon, Jelly, Golem, a couple others. So just because I get 1 type of droplet, what if I get a Peneleon droplet, but then I get a Jellyworm droplet? Well, now I need 10 droplets, and I've only got 2. So I was actually sitting there scratching my head like, man, do I even really want to do this? Is this even really something I want to mess with? And the answer, quite frankly, was, you know, honestly, not really. It just didn't seem like it was worth it. And I think the development team had pretty much the exact same feeling. I think that the development team had pretty much the same feeling of the skill juice was just not dropping in the quantities that we needed it to drop. If the skill juice had been dropping in much, much higher quantities, then yes, I could see it being a thing. I could see people going in there and grinding it out simply for the codex and the skill juice, because the skill juice is tradable. It's the only tradable skill pill in game. So I could totally see that. And this is the problem they had 6 months ago or 5 months ago. The last time they did this event was they did the event and everybody was saying, you know, we're cycling thousands and thousands and thousands of head and we're not really getting anything here. Where the skill juice isn't dropping, and that's what most people were after. Most people were not after the pristines the first time. They changed it to droplets this time. And I think part of the problem was not only the skill juice drop, but the first time they did the event, the pristine rate was very, very low. And I think that's why they changed it to droplets. They expected the droplets to drop in much better quantities, much higher quantities. Yeah, you're going to have to cycle some PED to get those droplets. But I think they expected it to be something feasible, not something that felt like Mount Everest on steroids. And that's what it felt like. I was actually going over it in my head like, man, this feels even worse than Mayhem. You know, with Mayhem, you need the rare tokens, and those are account bound. And if you get 1 rare, you really don't need 1 rare. You need like 3 or 4 rares, right? So you're kind of, once you get your first rare, you're kind of stuck in the cycle of Mayhem, and you can't really get out of it very easily. If you get 1 rare, you've kind of got to keep grinding. If you don't ever get a rare, then, you know, okay, cool, stop whenever you want. But if you do get that 1 rare, you really need like 3 bare minimum. So that's kind of what it felt like, but it almost felt worse because it's like, okay, at least Mayhem is a couple times a year, and I know when it's going to happen. With this is only the 2nd time they've ever had this event, and yeah, they plan to do it several times a year, but how many times a year is several? Is it 2? Is it 1? Is it 3 or 5, or, you know, how often and on what time schedule? And I know the development team here on Cyrene is still trying to figure that out and kind of work through this because it's their first planet-wide event. And I do have to give it to them. It's nothing that they did. They have been trying to make it a great event. The problem is they create the items that go into the loot pool, but MindArt controls the loot pool. MindArt controls what drops when and how the drops work, how the algorithm works. The development team doesn't necessarily have any better insight into the algorithm than me or you do. They are pretty much stuck the same way me and you are stuck, of trying to understand the algorithm without seeing it. So, and this is a problem that not just the Cyrene development team has had, but the Ark development team, the Next Island development team, the Arcadia development team, and we've seen this across the board with the Planet partners, is they'll create something like Smuggler Armor, or they'll create something like Pristines or Droplets or Skill Juice, and Mindark will put it into the loot pool, but then Mindark's the one that controls how the loot pool works, and if it doesn't function the way the Planet partner needs it to function, the Planet partner is just kind of stuck. So a great example of this is the Zora's mission chain for the Zora's HK. You know, you need the greater power crystal. Well, trying to get those lesser and weaker power crystals to drop, because you need 10 of each to make a greater power crystal, it was hard before Loot 2.0. With Loot 2.0, it's almost freaking impossible. So the odds of actually being able to make a greater power crystal, you would have to cycle not thousands of ped, you would have to cycle millions of ped. And to actually buy the crystal that you need to make the greater power crystal is prohibitively expensive. And there are actually people who are renting out their greater power crystal that they have from back in the day. And yeah, you can use it to get a couple of lures for Lazladel, but then you've got to get the Lazladel parts to drop, and that is the same exact problem. Again, pre-Loot 2.0 it was hard, post-Loot 2.0 it's almost impossible. And that's why Zora's HKs are just not even worth making anymore. The chain's not even worth doing. It's just a part of the history of Cyrene at this point. And I even made a video, which you guys will see, going over the entire chain, all the problems with it. And I don't think it needs to be fixed. I really don't. It's a part of the history of Cyrene. It's part of the history of the planet's development and the game's development over time. And for what it was at the time, it was a great chain. It was a great weapon. The development team did a great job with it. But now that we have Loot 2.0, there's just too many problems with the chain, and the reward is not worth even going after at this point, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean it's not a great part of the history or the development team didn't do a good job with it. It's just like comparing a Model T to a Lamborghini. You can't do it. They're both cars, I guess, but that's not saying much. So, unfortunately, this seems to be something that has really disappointed the development team, and I feel bad for them because I know they've really, really worked hard to make this Imperium Snowbase event something that players are going to want to do. They're really working hard to make Cyrene a destination planet. That's why I've been spending so much time here over the past couple of weeks. Guys, I've probably got 60 or 70 videos banged out that I'm getting ready to start releasing over the next, probably sometime later this week I'll start releasing them. And it's going to take weeks to release them all, because I want to be sure, if you're visiting Cyrene for the first time or for the first time in a long time, that you guys are properly up to speed and know all the pertinent information that you need to take advantage of this planet and all the opportunities that it has. I love it. They somehow even made mining fun. I don't like mining. I hate mining with a passion. And I love mining on Cyrene. So what does that tell you? If they can make mining fun, then they've done an amazing job. And I think that it's just kind of a shame that they came out with this great idea for skill juice, which is tradable, since we don't have another tradable skill pill in game, and now it drops in such low quantities it's not even worth going after. The loot for the rest of the loot pool on those mobs inside that instance is absolutely abysmal, and that's not necessarily the development team's fault. And the codex rewards were pretty good, I do have to give it that, but I was also cycling an appropriate amount for those rewards. And the fact that they had the problem with the Pristines and came up with this idea for the Droplets, I think that's absolutely amazing. But now the problem is, if you can't get the Droplets to drop, it doesn't do you any good. So unfortunately, they've canceled the entire event. They've shut the entire thing down. Not even, hey, we're going to shut it down until we get it fixed. It'll be back up later today. They've just straight up canceled the event. Straight up, we're not doing this. We're shutting the whole thing down right here, right now. And you know what? Kudos to them. Good job. Because that's how you do development. If there's a problem, you don't say, we'll have this fixed in a couple of hours, when you know it's probably not going to take a couple hours. This could take weeks or months to resolve. They're going to have to get with Mindark and say, okay, we want skill juice to drop. We want these droplets to drop. What are we going to have to do to make this event more what we want? And maybe they have to go with something like mini droplets. Maybe you've got to collect, 1,000 mini droplets to make one droplet. And the mini droplets are an uncommon drop. And you can still get the regular droplets, which are a rare drop. But maybe you can get like 1,000 of these mini droplets, which refine to a droplet. And then 5 droplets refines to a pristine. Who knows? I don't know where this is going to go. Or maybe same thing with skill juice. Maybe they break skill juice up into like 5 different pieces. and all 5 pieces are an uncommon drop. But then once you get all 5 of them, you refine them together and get a skill juice. I don't know how that's going to work. They could make the skill juice craftable with stuff that you can only loot inside the instance. Create a special blueprint for the event and create special loot, and it gets turned into skill juice via crafting. That's one option. So there's multiple game mechanics that they have at play that they can use to solve this problem. And I'm actually going to email Chris over at the development team some of the things that I just said in case he doesn't get to see the video, because there are some ways that they can do this event that doesn't have to rely on the loot algorithm itself, or that can use the loot algorithm in a different way. So I'm going to see if I can maybe make some suggestions to him via private message and see if maybe I can help get them pointed in the right direction in their conversations with MindArt, because I hate it. It was a fun event at first until I realized how absolutely abysmal the loot was and how absolutely horrible the drop rate on the skill juice was. Here's the thing. If you go into an event like that, you know you're going to lose money. Again, not just our normal 95% TT returns. We expect that. But usually we can at least go after markup. Or if we're not going after markup, we can at least go after something that we're wanting in the loot. So if I'm giving up that 5-6% worth of my TT value, that's fine. I can keep watching my ped card shrink, my decay grow. I can keep watching my ammo shrink. I'm fine with that, so long as I'm getting what I want out of it. If I'm not getting any of the things that I want out of it, then it becomes unacceptable. And that's the problem, is I wasn't getting the skill juice I wanted. Well, without the skill juice, what else is there? I mean, there's the droplets, and yeah, I can go after them, but I almost didn't even want them since they're account bound. What else is there? There's nothing. There was no good markup loot I could go after. So because of that, it just felt like I was cycling to cycle. It just felt like I was spending money to spend money. And to just spend money to spend money and maybe get a little bit of Codex rewards out of it, it's really not worth it. I mean, when you're talking Codex rewards, you're talking at the higher levels, you get a 2-ped TT value reward, and that 2-ped TT reward might only get you a half a point or a third of a point. So, I mean, at that rate, you're like, okay, if I'm going to even go for Codex rewards, I have to be going for mobs with markup. I have to be going for loot that I can either use or sell. And it just didn't feel like that. So I'm actually really proud of the development team for shutting it down and for saying we're just going to hold off. We're disappointed, but, you know, we're going to see if we can revamp this and work something out. So that doesn't mean Cyrene isn't somewhere that you should be. In fact, I'm not leaving. I'm staying on Cyrene. And unless they announce a new version of the Twin event that is token based, I'm probably going to be on Cyrene until Mayhem, until Easter Mayhem, because there's so much to do here. I'm working on the unstable chain, trying to get my tokens for it. I'm working on the new epic pet chain. I'm working on videos for you guys. I'm working on my orc faction badges. I've got a ton of different stuff going on here on Cyrene, and I'm having an absolute blast doing it. On top of that, there's some great skilling opportunities here that are very, very hard to find elsewhere. So I'm doing that as well, and I'm just all around loving the planet. I was really looking forward to the event, even though it was only going to be like a 6-day event. I was really going to hit it hard, and as long as it was fun, I was going to keep doing it. Well, it became not fun very fast because of the way the loot was happening, so I really have to give kudos to the development team for shutting it down. So if you guys were coming to Cyrene specifically for the Imperium Snowbase Arc Offensive event, it's been canceled. Don't bother with the trip. However, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't come to Cyrene anyway. That doesn't mean you shouldn't come here for the other things they have to offer. So look later toward the end of the week, beginning of next week, I'm going to start releasing those Cyrene videos for you guys. There's going to be a lot of them, and I know I've still got a lot of content I'm going to have to cover. I'm going to have to go back and fill in the gaps later, but I wanted to get the vast majority of it out there for you guys. And then most of your hardcore players will be able to fill in the gaps on their own, but I'll obviously fill in gaps with all that content for you guys later too. And at some point, we might even go back and make a video just explaining what order new players should watch the videos in. So I will get to all that in later videos also. So guys, I'm going to leave it there for today as I go ahead and farm some of the scrap metal that I need out of these little level 3 scout bots. But kudos to the development team over at Planet Cyrene Hopefully we get this event fixed, and hopefully the next Imperium Snowbase event is much, much, much better. So till then, sip, sip, smack, smack. Y'all know the rest. Head over to earnped.com, because when you earn, we earn. By far the best way you guys can help support us. Just use the links on earnped.com to go to hideout.tv. Hideout will automatically add us as a redemption option for your Hideout points. No additional effort needed. Guys, please do as the banner says at the bottom of the screen. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you guys are up to date on all the newest goings on in game. That keeps you up to date with everything going on, all the opportunities, all the ways you can play smarter, not harder, all the events getting canceled or reworked. It just keeps you guys up to date, and it helps to support us. And guys, please use that like button on every single video, because it helps to combat the trolls and the haters that are out there. But even more important, it puts us on the right side of the YouTube algorithm. And what that means is there are people that are watching YouTube that YouTube knows, hey, this person's into PC gaming, they're into real cash economy gaming, they're into MMOs, and they've never heard of Entropia before, but one of our videos pops up on their suggested video feed as they're hanging out on YouTube. And what we see happening is they go, hey, I've never heard of this Entropia game before. They end up checking out the video, and then they watch the channel, and then once they've learned about the game, they download the game and they become passionate about Entropia. Then they start their journey at Camp Icarus, and then on to North Swamp Camp and into the universe. And we're getting more and more messages every day from people saying, hey, that's exactly what happened. Would you tell your viewers the impact that they're having because of your viewers hitting those buttons, because they subscribed or liked the channel? I now love Entropia. It's now my hobby. It's now my passion. Would you please thank them for me and let them know that they are having an impact sharing this game with people like me? So you guys deserve to know the impact you're having. You guys deserve to know that because you hit that like button, people are finding Entropia for the first time, or finding a love of Entropia that they haven't had in many, many, many years. So you guys are having a huge impact on the game, on the economy, of course on us. So we really appreciate it. Please keep it up. We'll leave it there for today. Sip, sip, smack, smack. Y'all know the rest. Take care, Stevies.